The 2026 World Cup is almost here, and it's going to be the biggest one we've ever seen. More teams, more matches, more drama, more stars. But while millions of fans are getting ready for football's biggest stage, some huge names won't be there. Not because of injury, not because of form. Their countries simply didn't qualify. And honestly, some of these names are shocking. Today, we're looking at 11 stars officially missing World Cup 2026. And trust me, a few of these will hurt. Let's start with Benjamin Sesko. And honestly, this one just feels wrong, because Sesko looks like the perfect World Cup player. He's tall, quick, technical, and clinical in front of goal. He's the kind of striker who could arrive at a major tournament, score a few big goals, and suddenly become a global superstar overnight. That's the kind of profile he has. But none of that will happen in 2026, because Slovenia won't be there. And that means one of football's most exciting young forwards will be watching from home instead of playing on the biggest stage. That's a huge loss. Next up is Bryan Mbeumo. And if you really watch football, you already know how dangerous he is. He's sharp, direct, creative, and he knows how to hurt teams. He can score, he can create, and he always feels like he's one moment away from making something happen. Honestly, he's exactly the kind of player who could have had a breakout World Cup. But Cameroon failed to qualify, which means Mbeumo misses the biggest stage in football. And here's where it gets interesting. There's another Cameroon player who will also be missing World Cup 2026. See if you can guess who it is before we reveal him later. Drop your guess in the comments. Then we have Dominik Szoboszlai. And this one hurts, because Szoboszlai feels made for tournament football. He's the kind of player built for big moments. Long-range screamers, leadership, set pieces, confidence. Every time he gets the ball, it feels like something special could happen. That's what makes him so fun to watch. But Hungary won't be at World Cup 2026, so Szoboszlai is out too. And if you love midfielders who can completely take over a game, this one is painful. Now let's make this interesting again. There's also another Hungary player missing the World Cup. See if you can guess who it is before we reveal him. Now let's talk about Victor Osimhen, one of the most dangerous strikers in world football. He's fast, aggressive, explosive, and absolutely ruthless in front of goal. He's the kind of striker defenders hate facing. And he's exactly the type of player you want to see at a World Cup, because all it takes is one great tournament from Osimhen, and he could completely take over the global spotlight. But Nigeria failed to qualify, which means Osimhen won't be there. And honestly, the tournament loses something without him, because players like Osimhen don't just score goals, they create moments. But here's another challenge for you. There are two more Nigeria stars who are also missing World Cup 2026. See if you can name both before we reveal them later. Next is a name Premier League fans know very well. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, a player who, at his best, was absolutely electric. Pace, movement, finishing, big game threat. Even though he's no longer in the Premier League, he's still one of the biggest names missing from this tournament, because Gabon failed once again to qualify for the World Cup. And that means Aubameyang's dream of shining on football's biggest stage remains unfinished. For a player with a career like his, that's a tough one to accept. Now we move to Serbia, and the first big name here is Dusan Vlahovic, a powerful striker with top-level finishing and serious presence in the box. He's the kind of forward who can score out of nowhere. And in tournament football, those kinds of strikers are priceless. But Serbia won't be going to World Cup 2026, which means Vlahovic is out too. And just like the other countries we mentioned, he's not the only Serbian player missing out. We'll reveal that one in just a moment. All right, let's start with Cameroon. Earlier, I asked you to guess the other Cameroon player missing the World Cup. If you said Andre Onana, you got it right. So yes, Cameroon's failure to qualify means both Bryan Mbeumo and Andre Onana will miss World Cup 2026. That's two major names gone. And for a country with Cameroon's World Cup history, that's a massive disappointment. Now for Hungary. If you guessed Milos Kerkez, you were right again. That means both Dominik Szoboszlai and Milos Kerkez are officially out. And that tells you everything about how brutal international football can be. You can have real quality. You can have Premier League level talent. and still not make the World Cup. That's the cruelty of qualification. Now let's go back to Nigeria. Earlier, I asked you to guess the other two stars missing alongside Victor Osimhen. And if you said Alex Iwobi and Ademola Lookman, you got both. That means Nigeria will miss World Cup 2026 with a squad that includes Victor Osimhen, Alex Iwobi, Ademola Lookman. That is a serious amount of talent. And yet, none of them will be there. For neutral fans, that's a huge shame. Because on paper, this could have been one of the most entertaining African teams in the tournament. And finally, Serbia. If you guessed Aleksandar Mitrovic, you were right. So along with Dusan Vlahovic, Serbia will also be missing one of their most experienced and dangerous goal scorers. That's two top strikers from one country, both out of the tournament. And if Serbia had made it, they could have caused some real problems. So when you really look at this list, you realize just how much talent World Cup 2026 is going to miss.